Nickelodeon, one of the most iconic and recognizable brands in television history. Known for its countless memorable shows, it was home to some of the most creative programming ever made. But above all, it's synonymous with its biggest hit, SpongeBob SquarePants. The show needs no introduction, as it only propelled Nickelodeon to greater heights, but also, ironically, became the catalyst for its decline. It all seemed so sudden, didn't it? After the 2000s, the channel lost its charm almost overnight. What happened? What caused the creativity and magic behind the orange splat to disappear? Did the people at Nickelodeon stop caring? Were they simply burnt out? Well, the answer traces back to a single event, a marathon that went disastrously wrong, an event Nickelodeon would rather erase from history. But despite their attempts to bury it, the fallout lingered, tarnishing their reputation and marking a decline in the quality of their shows. This remains one of the most infamous scandals in television history. We're talking about none other than the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash. On July 17th, Nickelodeon hosted a special event to celebrate the 10th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants. The marathon featured segments like Top 10 Picks, showcasing fan-favorite episodes, and Celebrity Favorites, where stars shared their favorite episodes, like Jerry Trainer, who highlighted Muscle Ball Buff Pants. And last but not least, the premiere of 12 brand new SpongeBob episodes, with the most anticipated and heavily promoted being To SquarePants or Not to SquarePants, which was also the first episode that launched the event and the first one to premiere out of all the other new episodes. With this insane marketing campaign, this marathon was designed to be Nickelodeon's biggest and most memorable celebration, a landmark event in the channel's history. However, something went wrong. And by wrong, I mean horribly wrong. And while the event did certainly become one of Nickelodeon's most talked about events, it wasn't for the reasons they had hoped. Something deeply troubling was happening behind the scenes at the animation studio. As SpongeBob SquarePants skyrocketed in popularity ever since the early 2000s, the studio became consumed by an insatiable hunger for profit. Profits that had to be made quickly, no matter the cost. And the ones who paid the price were the hardworking animators and staff. With SpongeBob's growing fame came swelling egos and unchecked arrogance among studio executives. By 2009, as the marathon approached, the relentless demand for more SpongeBob content translated into increasingly harsh working conditions. The atmosphere in the studio allegedly became unbearable. Employees described an environment where management was dismissive, deadlines that were just ridiculous, and staff that were overworked to the brink of exhaustion. The mental toll was immense, and the stress seeped into every frame of animation, part of the reason why the show's quality noticeably declined during this era. But this unsustainable cycle wouldn't and couldn't last forever. Enter Armand Raphael Ramsey. Armand joined Nickelodeon around 2003, and at first he was welcomed warmly by the staff and colleagues who would later become his friends. But as the years went by, the worsening attitude and toxic environment within the studio began to take a heavy toll on him. The relentless stress, the impossible deadlines, and the blatant disregard for the well-being of employees started to wear Armand down. His personality began to deteriorate. He became bitter, often wishing the worst for those around him, without even realizing what he was saying. Sleepless nights became the norm, and the overwhelming pressure even led to hallucinations. He no longer endured the stress, the abuse, and the suffocating mantra of "More SpongeBob" echoed through every corner of the studio. To Armand, every employee had been reduced to nothing more than lifeless tools, machines programmed to churn out profit, their voices silenced, their struggles ignored. Armand made a decision. Enough was enough. Together with a group of trusted friends he had met at the studio, Armand devised a plan for revenge. They knew the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash would attract millions of eyes to Nickelodeon, making it the perfect stage for their message. Their goal was clear: sabotage the marathon and expose the harsh reality behind the cheerful facade of the channel. They were determined to show the true face of Nickelodeon, no matter the consequences, for the whole world to see. On July 17th, 2009, viewers tuned into Nickelodeon, eagerly awaiting the start of the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash. Across forums and chat rooms, multiple Nickelodeon and SpongeBob fans gathered to share their excitement and expectations for what promised to be a historic marathon. But as the anticipation built, some viewers began to notice something odd. Something wasn't quite right with Nickelodeon's broadcast. Fortunately, 2 clips of these strange occurrences still exist. The iCarly and Dora the Explorer respectively, the latter coming from a YouTube upload that, surprisingly, has never been taken down. But here's the thing, these glitches weren't technical issues. They were something far more deliberate, an intentional act of sabotage, and yet most viewers didn't caught on. Take a look at these 2 clips and see if you can spot what's truly off about them.
Celebration to Salute Square beyond compare. A catcher of jellyfish, a blower of bubbles, a fryer of patties. He's floated his way into our hearts with his unshakable optimism and mind-blowing absorbency. So tonight, we bask in the sweet glow of his pores. Tonight, we celebrate the inner SquarePants in all of us. For tonight begins the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash.
Is that supposed to happen? No.
Nickelodeon brought this on themselves. They knew this day would come.
No, I don't. Back?
Oh yeah, sure.
This is a pepperoni stick.
Oh my god, I'm in trouble.
Look, we'd love to hang out and talk.
For a brief moment, a message flickered on the screen. It was nearly impossible to read, distorted by heavy glitches and, oddly enough, displayed backwards. Whether this was an accident or intentional choice is unknown. But after careful analysis, the message was clear. They were warning Nickelodeon to cease the entire event, or else they were going to ruin the marathon with these signal intrusions. As seen in these clips, Nickelodeon's engineers acted swiftly, restoring normal programming in a matter of seconds. We don't know if they ever noticed this cryptic message, but if they did, they likely dismissed it. To them, it must have seemed like a minor hiccup, something easily wiped away and forgotten, perhaps assuming it was the work of pranksters attempting to interfere with their signal. But they were wrong. When the marathon finally began at 8 o'clock p.m., the real chaos was only just getting started. Thanks to the many SpongeBob fans who recorded the event live on VHS, DVD, or digital devices, nearly every strange occurrence from those 3 days of the marathon have been preserved. Recovering these recordings wasn't easy, but as of right now, we have access to most, if not all, of the anomalies that plagued the marathon. Most importantly, however, the recording of the alleged resignation letter. But more on that later. Each clip gets more disturbing than the last, escalating to points where Nickelodeon's engineers struggled to stop the intrusions, or, in some cases, couldn't stop them at all. Now, I'll play each recording that has been recovered and analyze them in detail where possible.
I see you even brought your duck.
Yep, it's sweet.
Don't you mean...
back with the greatest SpongeBob freakout.
SpongeBob's fault! I failed. My career is over. I'm sorry, Spatula.
Things began to escalate noticeably with these two clips. In the first clip, during an airing of the episode Pineapple Fever, the audio glitches out almost immediately, and suddenly SpongeBob and Patrick simply disappear. Adding to the strangeness, the message at the bottom of the screen changes, a clear indication that the perpetrators have infiltrated Nickelodeon's system, modifying the episode in text on screen. Eventually, the episode resumes as normal, but the moment left viewers unsettled. The second clip, however, is even more bizarre and far more targeted against Nickelodeon itself. What makes this clip especially odd is the lack of a confirmed time frame. Interestingly, the footage begins with a technical difficulty screen. Multiple users claim it occurred around the start of Single Cell Anniversary, which aired at 9:15 p.m., and claimed they saw a mad plankton staring at the screen. Unfortunately, this means that this clip isn't complete and we don't see what happened prior to this. Whatever the case, these clips were only a small taste of the chaos that was about to unfold.
The new movie Band Slam is about 3 rules they don't teach you in school. Sweet and to be your friends.
What's your
He's floating his way into our hearts with his unshakable optimism. We celebrate the inner
Racing. My Sims Racing. Rated E for everyone.
Okay, things got serious now. In the first clip, a scene from Patty Height, where Mr. Krabs and Squidward laugh at SpongeBob, Squidward transforms into something deeply insane. Mr. Krabs and Squidward console and SpongeBob seems to be hyperventilating. As for the second clip, well, let's just say it was sleeping tonight. They really should have let this episode play out normally. It was already grotesque enough on its own. By this point, it's no wonder that online forums were buzzing with shock and confusion over what was revealed. They know the situation is about to get worse.
There's nothing more fun than painting fruits. This is more fun than anything. What Johnny
Patrick is right. No, it's not. My door is broken. Can you open the door? I left my keys in my other keys.
Take your bag. Put your head up, boy. Show the company pride.
Patrick is using my box.
And this is what
What are you doing in your house? Besides, this oven Congratulations, sir. Your present daddy picked up.
Diet Dr. Kills. Don't tell me you forgot my trail. Oh my God, the ace is pizza without my
So, it wasn't that's an easy one, Patrick. Just wait for someone to come out, and then you'll know.
Mainly the 27-year-old man, Mark Rasmussen Ramsey, who was suppressed by the company, set to be the head boss. One thing is clear, it's a wake-up call for the entire broadcast.
The Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash continued to air the remaining episodes as scheduled, though the signal attacks had already ceased. By this point, it was clear that many within the company were far from pleased. If given the choice, they might have cancelled the marathon altogether. In the remaining 15 hours, news of the hijackings and the chaos behind the scenes at Nickelodeon had already begun to spread. Ironically, the marketing campaign for the event backfired, drawing even more attention to the intrusions and making them the main reason why news turned up. The marathon concluded with the final rerun of Jumpscares or Not Jumpscares, followed by a live apology from Nickelodeon's team in response to the escalating backlash and a flood of angry fan complaints. Needless to say, the event was a disaster. The so-called afterbash never happened, and Nickelodeon quickly distanced itself from anything related to the SpongeBob Sponge Bash, and so did the viewers of 2009. Everyone wanted to forget this catastrophe, and to hope that the world would move on. In retrospect, the Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash went from what was intended to be the biggest SpongeBob celebration ever into a pivotal moment for Nickelodeon, television history, and broadcast security management. It left many viewers traumatized, and Nickelodeon made extensive efforts to erase any trace of the signal confusions. These efforts were likely aimed at preventing reminders of the incident, shielding future audiences from such content, or perhaps continuing to hide the truth. As for Armand Raphael Ramsey, little is known about him. According to some sources, the FCC apprehended him many months later, and he was arrested. However, details about his sentencing remain unclear, along with the identities of his collaborators, as well as the methods they used to hijack the channel. It is believed that information about Armand has been kept confidential, though, ever since. Regarding the hijackings, some interruptions appear to have deeper meanings beyond shock value and damaging Nickelodeon's reputation. The Patty Hype interruption seemingly highlighted the bullying and mistreatment Armand and his colleagues endured at the studio. The Help Wanted interruption reflected intrusive, vengeful thoughts, possibly mirroring Armand's frustrations with the staff. The second-to-last interruption symbolized his resignation. With that said, however, many have questioned the extreme measures taken, like, hijacking a station. The actions of Armand and his accomplices have often been described, even by Nickelodeon's own team, as over-exaggerated or immature, especially considering the severe penalties for signal hijackings. While some argue that Nickelodeon deserved it, it's undeniable that the hijacking went too far. But regardless, they succeeded in their mission. Nickelodeon faced significant backlash, with numerous resignations and its reputation irreparably damaged. The channel has not been the same since.
Introducing Popsicle Slow Melt Ice Age Pops with a gummy acorn inside. They last longer.
SpongeBob,
I'm just gonna stop you right there, Squidward. Spare you the oxygen. We all know you weaker folk can't afford to waste it. All right, folks, listen up, because I'm only gonna say this once. Tough guys don't like to repeat themselves. I'm talking to you, Grandma! Now, I suppose all of you are wondering how I got this black eye.
Not really.
All right, you said that. Was it you, Grandma?
It was me. I said it.
Before you ask who I am, let me make one thing clear. I won't reveal my identity, not now. That'll be for the authorities to figure out. I'm here to talk about what really goes on behind the shiny and colourful exterior of this company. My colleagues and I have endured endless mistreatment. We were harassed, pushed to our limits, while working in this so-called animation studio. Nickelodeon doesn't give a damn about the people who bring its content to life. All they care about is pushing us for faster results, more profit, and more episodes. No matter the cost. They flood us with notes, constantly criticizing our work, nitpicking every detail. Nothing is ever good enough. We're forced to redo scenes over and over, not because they need improvement, but because they need control. And no, it's not about quality, it's about power. It's about crushing us under their demands until we have nothing left to give. I was humiliated, belittled, and disrespected more times than I can count. My co-workers and I have spent years breaking ourselves to meet their ridiculous expectations, only to be treated like disposable tools. When we finally deliver, we're met with cold indifference. And if we make even the smallest mistake, threats of being fired hang over us like a guillotine. My mental health is in ruins because of that place. But they don't care. To them, we're not people, we're machines. We're there to churn out content, meet deadlines, and stay quiet. The truth is out now, and you can't hide it anymore. You are a disgusting, soulless corporation, a company that has no regard for the people who make its content possible. I've had enough, and so have the people who stood by me through this nightmare. I'm not the only one. And now, with this statement, I'm officially resigning from the company that ruined me. Nickelodeon brought this on themselves. They knew this day would come. You all will face the consequences of your actions, the lies, the manipulation, the exploitation. You thought you could get away with it. But now, your time is up. From here on, things will only get worse for you, and I can't help but hope for your dad.
Black eye like this, like these. So you see, I made it all up so I guess I'm not SpongeBob SquarePants anymore. I'll have to start all over again. Hello, sir. I'd like an application, please. You're right.
You are so wrong about everything, SpongeBob.
My doctor told me I had to start doing things for my heart, but I wasn't ready to give up taste. Sometimes sacrifice is the name of the game.